This is my second update to my video called, Do Black American Mothers Hate Their Sons? I will put a link to the first two videos at the end of this video. I made these videos to help others figure out what they can do in their situation. Sometimes hearing another reasoning and logic can help. This is what Kevin Samuels did for us men. We knew we were right, but he put why we were right into words. He helped us form counterarguments to all the lies and gaslighting from these women. He showed us why they are wrong and what they are truly attempting to do. Since I posted that story, I have heard from others, both men and some women, who have their own stories. This is why I changed the picture profile. I cannot only say Black American mothers, I now must say mothers. What you are looking at are random images of my time in Phuket, Thailand. All the beaches you see are filled with Russians. Russians own Phuket. First, a little recap. My mother was dying, and some of the women in my family kept pushing me to call her, and I refused. I could not take it because for me, this was just more of her lies. Her wanting people to think she was good and virtuous. She wanted me to support this, and I just could not do it. Maybe my mother did love me in her own twisted way. But all the memories I have with her have connotations of hurt, pain and fear. That is not love. I want no parts of it if it is. I just want to forget. Dawn, who is one of the women in my family, kept telling me that I needed to forgive her. My aunt has said to me in the past that I have no reason to be angry and upset. Your mother did nothing wrong. Your mother loves you. So I stopped answering my phone. Dawn texted and apologized, which I greatly appreciate. I think she said that she watched a few of my videos. So, I think my last video on this subject might have helped her to understand my point of view. Plus, she has 3 sons and a lot of grandsons. Given the stuff my aunt has said to me in the past, I just have to wait until it is bowled over before I can talk to her. So basically, this is all said and done. Probably not. But at least now they understand my point of view. My perspective. Okay. Calling my mother would mean that I would be complicit, or make me an active participant in the pain and hurt she caused me. In other words, my bad son now sees the error of his ways and called to say he is sorry and all of that stuff. Or, she would want me to say I forgive her. Both would result in me not telling anyone about the bad or horrible stuff she did. Therefore, she dies feeling good, and I still have to live with all of her lies, deceit and betrayal. While people still thinking I was a bad son and she was virtuous, all abusers cover up their abuse by making the victim look bad. This way, if their victim ever tells anyone, most will not believe him. This is one of the things I could not handle. Living with all of her lies about me my whole life. For me, this was just more of her lies, and I could not take it. After all the hurt and pain she caused me, why would she want to talk to me? My mother never told any of them why she wanted to talk to me. Why her son did not want to talk to her. She always left this part out and instead tried manipulation. Plus, just because you are a mother or dying does not give you a free pass from all the hurt and pain you caused. Here are the reasons why. It was the mother who decided to have the child. Not the father. Only the mother can make the choice to keep the child or abort the child. Thus, it was her choice to take on the responsibility for a child. The child had no say in the matter, and thus, should not be responsible for the mother's decision. When it comes to a parent-child relationship, it is the parent who has all the control and influence. Not the child. Consequently, it is the parent who dictates how that relationship will form and develop. Therefore, it is not the child's responsibility to ensure that the mother-child relationship is filled with joy and happiness. It is the mother's. The majority of the time, it is the mother that spends the most time with the child and not the father. Therefore, has the greater influence. When a parent kills their child, over 70% of the time, it is the mother that does it. This is worldwide. Children raised by a single father produce the same outcome as children raised by 2 parents. Children raised by a single mother are 10 times more likely to develop a drug addiction, and 20 times more likely to go to prison. I think this indicates that the problem is not being raised by a single mother. The problem is in many situations there is no decent or good man in the house. The reason why there is no man in the house is because no decent man can deal with these types of women. And the only men that can deal with these types of women are the ones who probably should not be having any kids. Then these women look for good, honest, decent men to help them pay for and raise the children they had with other men. If she fills the relationship with a lot of hurt and pain, she is telling the child they mean very little to her. Thus, the child will respond with anger and resentment. The child might say, if I mean very little to you, then you mean very little to me. If you beat a dog long enough, he will run away. Thus, this is natural. I have heard not only from men who had bad mothers but also from women who had bad mothers. The result is always the same: I hated my mother. The point I am trying to make is that the child is not responsible for the mother. The mother is responsible for the child. So instead of asking for forgiveness, fix the shit you did wrong. However, some things can never be fixed. Then, the mother needs to admit to it and see where it goes from there. Admitting to it might not heal the relationship between the parent and child, but it will help the child to finally start to heal. But healing can take years, and in some situations, the child might never truly heal. If the person or mother caused all the hurt and pain and refuses to stop, or refuses to try and make it right. If she refuses to even try, then, she asks for forgiveness. She had the chance or opportunity to reduce some of the hurt and pain she caused but refused. Now, she is basically asking you to help her cover it up. Thus, making you continue to live with all of the hurt and pain, while she dies feeling good. No. There cannot be any forgiveness for anything like this, and there should not be any forgiveness for anything like this. Especially, at any point in time before you die, you could have at least tried to help reduce some of the pain and hurt you caused, but refused. Thus, just because you are dying or as someone's mother does not give you a free pass from all the hurt and pain you caused. I have been given arguments such as she is your mother. She gave you life. It takes both the man and the woman to make a life, not just the women. Thus, women do not give life. Like a bird, a woman incubates the egg. Birds incubate the egg outside the body, and women incubate the egg inside the body. In the past, during historic times, you need both the man and the woman to ensure the child reaches adulthood. But because of modern conveniences, which men created, such as food distribution and the grocery store, women no longer have to depend on a man's help to ensure the child reaches adulthood, or help the woman to survive after childbirth. So, no matter how you look at it, without men, women would not have children or not have children that could survive to adulthood. And women themselves might not survive after childbirth. And without God, the Virgin Mary could not have given birth to Jesus. I know some will say that God could be a woman. I think the Bible says God is everything, the beginning and the end. So, no woman can create life without a man. I am not religious in any way. I am a pagan devil-worshipping agnostic atheist. This is an old saying I just made up. You got your logic, and I got mine. Plus, God created hell as a place to put these types of people. This means that some things cannot be forgiven and should not be forgiven. Jesus died for our sins, but hell still exists. Plus, the people who continuously do this stuff would never offer or provide any forgiveness until they got some kind of revenge or restitution. So why are we providing something they would never give? I do not know why some women think that they can scream, yell and treat us with disrespect and think it is not a big deal. But if men scream and yell at them, or do the same thing, then we are abusers. One of my subscribers offered a religious explanation. He based it on the Virgin Mary. In Christianity, the Virgin Mary was the mother of Jesus. Thus, she was good and virtuous. Women think, by default, that all mothers are good and virtuous. I think these women are full of self-absorbed, self-serving, self-centered, selfish. I think they are trying to create any excuse or rationale to justify behavior they know is wrong. Back to the update. Before Dawn apologized, she had her sister and my aunt call me to see how I was feeling. Then, when this did not work, she called herself. I refused to answer my phone. I do not want to play any longer. I never wanted to play that game. Then I talked to my female friend who lives in Arizona and told her what happened. Basically, I think all of these women cannot get over the fact that I have no grief or sorrow for my mother's death. The only sorrow I have is that I did not, but could have had a better relationship with her. But that was not my choice. It was her choice, and I am not going to take any responsibility for her choices. My mother could treat everyone else with decency, kindness, consideration, and respect but me. She had it in her head what type of person I was before I was born. When they were dishing out hurt and pain, they knew what they did was wrong, and they knew it was wrong when they were doing it. But they did not stop. They knew they had a problem but did not get help or try to get therapy. Basically, they did not care about the pain and hurt they were causing you. They did not care about your feelings, so why should we now care about theirs? Now, they want their victim to help them cover up the crime. They now have no power over their victim. You have to ask yourself that if they still had power over their victim, would they have stopped? The answer is no. They refused to get counseling or therapy. They knew what they were doing was wrong, and they never tried to stop. The reason why they do this stuff is because no one has held them accountable. They do no self-reflection, which means they refuse to hold themselves accountable. They have always lied or blamed others for their behavior. Thus, they will not stop without being held accountable. Counseling or therapy would hold them accountable. As Kevin Samuels said, accountability is kryptonite to these women. Now, they are trying to escape accountability by asking for your forgiveness. And when they ask for your forgiveness, and you ask them about some of the stuff they did, they will still lie, blame others, or say something like the following: "That is in the past. That was a long time ago." They will say anything to avoid or escape accountability. I have heard all kinds of bullshit. All kinds of crap. If they are still alive, forgiveness should not be given without accountability. They need to be held accountable. Plus, if nothing else, forgiveness cannot be granted until the person is ready to forgive. It cannot be pushed or rushed. And until the person starts to get over all the hurt and pain the other person caused, forgiveness cannot and will not be granted. I have a friend who I have known for over 40 years who has a doctorate in psychology. She told me that some people have lived with hurt and pain for so long that it is now their natural state. Most of the time, they do not realize it until they start to heal, and without accountability, they might never heal. Thus, forgiveness might never come. Plus, I discovered that a person can run out of forgiveness. You forgave so many times that you can no longer do it. I remember when I told a few people that my mother left me stranded. My mother acted as if I did something horrible, while at the same time adding that she was hurt by me telling people what she did. Then she tried to punish me for it so that I would never do it again. Believe me, they all have developed their own methods to avoid accountability and shift the blame to others. For all the women, if you know what you are doing is wrong, then why can you not do what is right? If you know you are inflicting hurt and pain, why can you not stop? Then why should we forgive you?